Who are the most silent characters in One Piece? I'm talking about characters who rarely speak for the amount of screen time they have, not necessarily background characters. And coming in at number 5, I got Monkey D. Dragon. He actually does have a decent amount of lines throughout the series compared to these other characters, but it gets to a point where Oda is showing him and he just has nothing to add. He's just... I'll give him credit, he is most likely the greatest East Looker in history, but I need a little more yapping from the man. And then at number 4, I gotta put Emu. This is a spoiler for Egghead, but they actually did speak a decent amount in this one chapter. Aside from that, though, they really have barely spoken in the series. They're actually very similar to Dragon in the sense that both of them like staring at things silently. At number 3, I gotta put Kuma, and this is pretty self-explanatory. Kuma was turned into a cyborg, so he is silent. But the reason he is at number 3 is because there was a point where he was able to speak. And he actually was slightly talkative. But then at number 2, I have another Kuma, Kumashi, Perona's zombie helper. Now, the only reason that Kumashi doesn't really speak is because Perona does not want them to, which made for a very funny scene in Thriller Bark with Usopp, Nami, and Chopper inside of him, and he couldn't tell Perona. But I actually counted their lines, and they have spoken more than the character I have at number 1. The most silent character in One Piece, in my opinion, has got to be Garp's right-hand man, Bogart. In the manga, he only has 2 lines. You could say he has 3 because there's a scrap page, but he essentially only has 2. And based on the amount of screen time he has, I think he's appeared in maybe like 17 chapters or so. He's clearly not the most sociable person. And that's because that's just how his character is. He's not really like a flashy character. I've talked about this before. I know it sounds like a joke, but he is nonchalant. That's just like, that's his thing. The one time he has gotten the spotlight, it was pretty impressive. I mean, it was the first use of Iaido in the story, and it could be the first use of the Breath of All Things as well.